Manchester Business for a Monday night. Remember, if you've missed anything tonight, you can listen to it again on our website at bbc.co.uk/Manchester. Click listen again, and that'll take you through to the iPlayer, or why not download us as a podcast tomorrow morning, bbc.co.uk/podcasts, and search for Manchester Business. Now, Warrington-based companies set to play a major part in online news revolution in the future. News International recently announced it will be starting to charge people to access the Times and Sunday Times websites by setting up something called paywalls. Now, if it works out, it could revolutionise the online journalism industry and other websites if other organisations follows this newspaper's suit. Let's speak to Paul Johnson now, who set up MPP Global in Manchester 10 years ago, and the company's come on to be a leader in online payment technology. First of all, Paul, good to see you. Tell us what a paywall is for people who don't know.
Well, a paywall, quite simply, is a method for content owners to lock editorial content behind a registration form, which can also obviously be chargeable content, so that people using a credit or debit card or by billing content to their mobile phone bill are able to charge people to access that content.
So in the past, when people have been reading websites for free, in the future, you could help them to charge for this content?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, our target market is publishers, newspaper groups, as well as TV and film companies. And all these companies have one thing in common, and that's premium content. That's why they're in business. And so it's our job to help these companies monetize that content. But you're right, a lot of the content has traditionally been free of charge. You know, you go to any of the News International websites, lots of localised regional newspaper groups, content has traditionally been completely free of charge. Now, what we've seen with the downturn in the economy of the last couple of years is advertising revenues falling, and this is one of the main revenue generators for such content websites. So when advertising revenues do fall, obviously the owners, the directors in these companies are looking at other ways of monetising the website. And so an obvious way of doing that is to, instead of putting adverts on the website, they ask consumers to pay for that content instead, just like they would if they walk into a newsagent's and pick up a copy of the newspaper there.
Because people have stopped buying the paper or stopped buying the magazine, and they've been getting it for free online. So there's been no incentive to buy the paper, has there? And the company loses out with the money, didn't they?
Yep.
And of course, you've always had... It's been great for the music industry because they've had Apple and iTunes and other stores like that. It's just one click, and it's an easy process to buy a song. But when it comes to publishing, there's been nothing set up like that, no micropayment system.
No, that's right. And, you know, MPP, our first foray into digital content was in the music industry. You know, we produce music download websites. We help, very small independent labels through to, clients like Universal Music monetize their content. And you're right, when an MP3, a music download, might cost 79, 89, 99 pence, you're at a level of transaction which makes it uneconomical to process through a direct debit or credit card. And that's how a micropayment is born, in that very much like a pay-as-you-go mobile phone, you can charge up your online account with credit to the tune of £5 or £10 or £20, and then you draw down on that credit in exchange for that digital content, whether it's video, music or editorial. We also kind of play that same model but in reverse, so that we actually credit content to people. We obviously collect their credit card details, and then some days later we will add up all the individual transactions that consumer has made, and if they reach a ceiling or a certain amount of time has passed, we will then retrospectively bill that consumer for the content they've consumed. Or we can just have a subscription-based model where people pay the same amount every month, and they can have an all-you-can-eat kind of model.
Is it something that's... I mean, I can imagine a lot of people who use the web would find this quite sort of unpalatable because of the fact that they've been used to getting stuff free. I mean, is this just a case where the newspapers and online publishers are thinking, I'd rather have something from a few people than nothing from loads of people?
Well, I think so. Plus, they get an awful lot of traffic from expats and the international market. But you're right, it's very expensive to service 20 million unique users every day or every week or whatever it might be.
How do Google make money from advertising then if it's dropping so much when that's their only primary sort of income?
Well, I think Google's a completely different model, at least from the ones that MPP's used to. They've obviously got pay-per-click advertising, and I'm sure they've seen a big dip in that over the last year or two. But I think the success of that and the profitability of that was already such that, I think in the long term that's still a very viable model for them.
So the News International have announced they're taking the Times and the Sunday Times website behind a paywall, so in future, if you visit their sites, you're going to have to pay to see it. Is this going to start the ball rolling? Because Rupert Murdoch wants to monetise the internet, doesn't it? Do you see now other papers, other media organisations, online content providers will start charging for this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, MPP, we've already had inquiries from as far afield as Sydney, Australia, and... Yeah, we're also working with a number of UK-based publishers who are in very sort of unique, like niche ways, starting to put in a payment wall. But I think that comes hot on the heels of the news from News International. They want to at least have some technology that they've tried, that they've tested, perhaps working with a company that they can quickly turn to roll out a larger solution in the fullness of time.
Well, thanks for coming in to see us tonight. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. The online future, maybe MPP Global will be playing a big role in that in the future. Thanks for coming in, Paul. As I say, you can listen to the programme again online at bbc.co.uk/Manchester. Just click